What's up, guys? We're gonna Bro Beat. Stanley will be showing you guys how to use EQs. If you guys haven't subbed already or turn post notifications on, make sure you do so because it does help the channel out a lot. Let's hop right into it. So first step real quick is just kind of understanding like what everything is in an EQ, okay? Because I think that's a problem. People just use EQ and they just copy what they see from others, but they don't really understand what the knobs are doing. All right, so this one's more self-explanatory. And basically you would, right, click and drag to boost, or you can use these up here, right? And then you can use your mouse to kind of make it more precise, or you can just widen it for more range, right? And that's pretty much how this one would work, right? So now you have more stuff like this with a little bit more knobs. Now this is picking the frequency. If you can look there, you can see it's moving, right? And this is somewhat a mix from like an analog one and like a more modern one, because it does have the band here, but more analog would just have like knobs, right, most of the time. And this one would be like the width. So let me pull it up with this knob, and this will be like how precise or how wide it will go, right? So that's pretty much how you use that one. So now we have like an analog one, right? Now let me actually mute this and pull this on. Now it's pretty much the same. It's just a lot more. It's a lot more craziness going on. So what I'm about to say is more general. It's not specific to this plugin or any other plugin or EQ, right? It's just something general to go about. So if this is the only plugin that you have, like an analog, then you should at least know like how to, modify things. So basically, this is the same thing as like choosing your frequency, right? You just move it. So I'll just play it so you can see an example. And let me actually put the, you can see how it's moving, right? Same thing. And then dB is just you boosting or lowering that specific frequency. And then this is the same as widening or making it more precise. Okay. Now you can see there's some that they don't have all these knobs, right? But it's pretty much universal. All right. So that's pretty much how you go about using each of the different types of EQs. All right, so now I'm actually show you what people are doing wrong, okay? And what they're doing is over EQing. And the reason for this, I think personally, is because when you watch videos and you like have somebody that you watch all the time or something, right, and you see them using like certain settings and plugins, you get excited like, ooh, and they open up their mixer and you can see their little plugins at the bottom. You're like, oh, all right, I'm about to search that up and see why they're using that, right? Or just try to download the plugin. And I'm sure everybody has done that before. And then when they open the EQ up or like a specific plugin, you try to copy the settings. Now, when they open the EQ, it probably sometimes looks like this or like some crazy stuff, right? Like this. And you're like, man, yo, that look, it looked crazy, right? So you want to copy that. You like, I want to EQ like this. So when you go do your drums or your loop or whatever, you just, your mentality is bad, because you just want to make it look good, or you want to try to mimic what they did when you're not really sure why they did what they did. All right, so over EQing is something that's not, and I'll show you just what this will sound like with the middle. Doesn't sound too terrible, but it's not good. Okay. So over EQing is mostly the problem. Even when I get feedback, it's just people over EQ. All right. So stop doing that. What you want to do is start subtly, right? So I'm gonna go ahead and do this one and just show you how to actually go about EQing starting off. Now, this isn't the perfect way to do it, right? But this is just a way that works for me and it's worked for other people. So what you can do, I usually put this band like somewhere right here. And what you would do is play it. And then what you could do is boost it all the way up. Now, this might sound a little harsh, but what you do with this is drag it, and you want to pick that frequency that you don't want to be heard as much, or you just don't want to, you want to kind of take out or decrease. So all right, so like somewhere right here, kind of harsh on my ears. So what you would do is pull it down like this, like somewhere, either one of these, okay? And then you would pull it down a bit. And you know, some people do stuff like this, right? And I see this all the time. I don't really go anywhere. Like if you see, I can barely even see the numbers, but if you see these numbers here, I usually just go in between those two numbers, just as a guide for where you can put it, right? And you can make it more precise or not. I just leave it like this. All right, again. And that's pretty much how you want to go about EQing, okay? And then you can also, now when you get more advanced and stuff, you can also, you know, try to boost stuff, right? Because you know what you're doing now, okay? And let's just do one more and let's boost one. So. Okay, so we can boost like these little higher frequencies here. Same thing. With the higher frequencies, I will go wider. All right, especially if it's something that you really want to keep in there. Same thing, just a little boost is all you really need. And that goes for your drums. Now, kicks and 808s with trap is different because it's like really bass heavy. So you might see some huge dips, okay? But for the most part, it's very subtle stuff. All right, so there's that. So now what I'm gonna do is show you an example of what I'm talking about, okay? Because some of them like, I don't hear nothing, I don't hear a difference, whatever. I'm gonna show you what I'm talking about. So look, this is why a lot of y'all drums sounds weak, or when I get feedback, a lot of people say their drums don't sound as full. So I'm gonna just go ahead and show you why that is real quick. And so let me go ahead and pull these drums up, and let me make sure this is not on. All right, so let's play it. Okay, so right out the gate, you saw the frequencies, right? And a lot of people think, oh, only the high frequencies for the drums, right? And they do this. I see this so much, right? Look how weak that sounds. Those low frequencies are very important to your drums, all right? That's why your drums hit, is because of those low frequencies. They don't hit because of the high frequencies. They just make it sound a lot crispier, but it doesn't make it hit. All right, so if you take all this and if you keep adding it in, now you see how much it's hitting a lot better now, and it sounds a lot more full. So that's why a lot of y'all drums are sounding weak, okay? And this goes for anything. It doesn't really matter if it's a loop, taking out too much bass, taking out too much high end. Now it sounds like muffled, right? As I said, subtle stuff first. All right, it just looks something like that, all right? But again, back to these drums. Just don't, especially with drums, don't try to over EQ, okay? Don't try to over EQ. You can boost, of course you can boost. You can do whatever you want to do at the end of the day. But it's just some like guidance to how to actually go about using this, because I see too much people taking out, they think they need to take out like these low frequencies because it's making the bass muddy or whatever, when it's not. All right, so only EQ when needed in context with your beat. All right, so if it's needed, if you have a drum or something that's making, you know, things clash and it just sounds money, then EQ. But don't just be using EQs because you've seen somebody use it in a video and you're like, well, I need to put EQs on everything so it's clear, when really you're just making everything sound weak or too crispy. All right, but that's it for this video. Hopefully this was helpful. If anything I missed, just let me know in the comments. I'll just make another video. But that's it for this video. Make sure you guys like and subscribe if you're new, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.